the Savolainen's president today, Sofia and Kia, their daughter, their friends. And we used to be in the same home group at one point. But then I think it was Brandon and Emmy. They moved, they live in the sticks nowadays. So, what do you call it? That's why we don't have a home group at the moment. We don't have a home group at all at the moment. And what are we missing? Sorry. Would that be better? Yeah, now I can move it down a bit. So what I thought that I would get some moving picture of me sitting in the camera, me sitting in the car having this camera rolling, only to discover that the video yesterday I had left the memory card in the computer, so I didn't have a memory card with me, so couldn't do much about that. So I drove past the old Nokia buildings in Karaportti, and a lot of it looked similar. The garage, the big new houses, they were untouched, but then there was some of the old buildings, that was the main point. The building that I used to sit in, I can't remember the name, or was it Karaportti 11, the building number 10. Doesn't really matter. But it had been demolished. And again, you get these, or I get these funny sensations when you see a part of your history being taken away or removed. And I had a splash of nostalgia driving past it. Rudy was in the, what do you call it, the trunk, or not the trunk, we have an estate, this Volvo V50, so it's a long car, or it's not that, it's a small car, but it has this back, you would call it a trunk, I guess, but it's connected to the main cabin. So the dog's always there, and there's a net between, so if a crash would happen, it wouldn't fly into you. But no, there's a slim, what do you call it, opening between the window and the net, and it squeezes itself through. We had to stop, put it back in there. But the good thing that there are cargo hooks in the trunk of the Volvo, so from his, what do you call it, the leash, just hooked it up to the cargo hook in the bottom of the car, and that's it, problem solved. No jumping into the cabin anymore. And Kia's parents are dropping. They are dropping Sofia off tomorrow, which is nice. What do you call it? We rarely have business in Espoo. The only thing that I think I've mentioned about Espoo is that it has intolerant car drivers, that wherever you cycle in Helsinki or Vantaa, they're just happy to let you, drive on the side of the road. But as soon as you pass into Espoo, you're bound to get a couple of people, get off the road. And I've always debated in my mind, what would it be? I mean, what would my argumentation be for driving on the road? And I've always come to the same reasoning, is that if I drive on the kind of cycle road, they're in Finland, they're typically a mixture, so you can walk or cycle on them. It's not just for cycling. If it would be just for cycling, yeah, maybe. But as long as they're a mixture, then there might be toddlers and all sorts of weird, or not weird people, but people, they behave erratically, and you can't rely on them from just staying on. But then if I'm coming, let's say, even the smallest downward slope, I'm easy up to 40, 50 kilometers an hour, maybe a challenge, but easily up to 40 kilometers an hour. And if somebody in that speed does a sudden movement, there's no two ways about it. I'm going to crash into them. So I choose, for the safety of my fellow commuters or people moving from place to place, I choose to drive among the cars. So even if my speed among the cars, it will be less than the cars, but still, if something happens, you know, the people when they're driving cars, they tend to stick to rules. So they're not veering, doing sudden movements or anything like that, but they'll pretty much stick to their course, and you can rely on that. Whereas pedestrians, no. What else? It's been a very low-key, the whole Christmas holiday. I actually, because last week was, it's still called välipäivät, mellandagar, days in between. So now, I think yesterday was the official last day of Christmas. I can't remember what it's called. It's loppiainen in Finnish. And then that härkäviikot alkaa. It's just constant work. They're called the boo weeks. They start now, and then you work like a horse until maybe you have some kind of a ski holiday, I think, is the next one. But it's in like 2 months. Not 2 months. Well, yeah, depending on where you live, maybe up to 2 months. My wife commented on my hair that it looked stupid, which it did, honestly. But my father-in-law is giving me grief, as do older people often, because they equate being bald with being an inmate, whereas for me it's fairly standard, or for my generation it's fairly standard. So he's always, please do grow it out. And then I thought, well, during the Christmas period when I have no customers or anything like that, I'll try and let it grow. But it just looks horrible. So, took the Beamer to the store, or not the store, to the garage, and went in and explained what's going on with it, and said that, yeah, it's riding low, that you first drove the Volvo you felt like you were level, but then when you switched to a Beamer, because we were driving both of us going to the garage, so having to jump back and forth between the cars. This was yesterday. And you could feel the car, you were driving like a car that's moving like that. And it was a rough ride, to say the least. I took the car in around lunchtime today, and the guy says, yeah, I'll call you when I've checked what's wrong with it. It doesn't take him 3 hours, two hours, and he gives me a call and says that, yeah, that, what do you call it? The air suspension, it actually was the fuse, as you mentioned, and invoices or the receipt is here. Oh my God, I need to create a travel invoice for that. So they said, yeah, it was the fuse, which was the cheapest and the best solution there could be. And I was like, yes. And then he continues saying that, but we've discovered that the right rear shock absorber, well, anyway, it's leaking oil. And normally it would be something around 300 euros tops. But given that these are electric ones in this car, if our price is around 650 euros per side, and you normally switch both sides. If we buy them and we replace them, the bill will run about 1,800 euros. I was like, no, don't fix them. Can I drive it? And the car drives quite nicely now. And you can see it's raised like 10, 15 centimeters. So now I've been looking online. The cheapest I've found is, I got the parts number from the guy. He admitted to me when I went to pick up the car. He admitted that, yeah, our parts are a bit steep. So now I'm gonna search online, and I did already search online, and I think I found them for 390 a pop, and they're going to be delivered from Germany. So this is what I'm most likely going to order. Apparently it doesn't destroy the car if I don't get them fixed, but apparently the right rear suspension is leaking and it will handle worse. On my disease front now, what do you call it? I would say yesterday we went shopping, and I was like half an hour walking around in a store, and I felt like rubbish after that. And I was just completely in my place, just sitting on the couch for the rest of the day. And today, haven't felt as bad as yesterday, but I'm clearly not feeling 100%. Or I feel alright, but when I move and stuff like that, it's just not good. And I had a minute or two of desperation yesterday. I was like, this is just horrible living like this. Which it is. It's just And now I've recognized of myself that when I see TV, people doing hard labor or doing sports or skipping or dancing or stuff like that, I'm just like, oh man, I'll never be able to do that. That's not for me anymore. Which is unpleasant feeling. Very unpleasant feeling. So, don't know why this is happening, but yeah, that's. And tomorrow, yeah, that was one of my theories, was that I've been completely stationary during the Christmas break, and now, what do you call it? Cycling tomorrow. Putting my laptop in my bag and driving to work and seeing how that goes. And hopefully I won't. Hopefully doing exercise again will maybe give me a bit of a increased boost. Because this feeling is fairly bad because I can't do it. And yeah, I heard this, for example. I'm now ordering from Amazon, and I think there's a Vita something, because the shipping cost of iHerb, it is just skyrocketed. It's horribly expensive, and I'm not paying for that. Anyway, so I bought refillment, or I replenished my supply from Amazon this time. They sell pretty much the same stuff. I looked into a Facebook group, and pretty much everybody, especially in Europe, and everybody says that that's it, bye-bye iHerb, never going to order from you again because this increased shipping cost. So that's one thing that has happened. Okay, yeah. Slightly bleak feeling because the fast did some good things. I'm still checking. There was a very minuscule amount of this tingling in the back of my leg. But some stuff has disappeared, but then some stuff is still there, and it's maybe even more pronounced. Weakness in my left hand. I was trying to lift up a box, and I just could not do it properly with my left hand. I had to do it with my right hand, and that could do it fairly easy. So power in my left hand has gone down a lot. But regardless of that, oh yeah, that's one thing. I keep remembering these things. Gave Tuikku, which is is it nephew? My sister's oldest is going to the army, and he missed his day when he was supposed to report for duty, and you're AWOL, so you're a deserter if you do that, and basically the police won't come looking for you, but they'll notify you, and if you do anything or you get in contact with police, they'll take you in the middle of the road and put you away or take you to the nearest barracks because you're AWOL. So had a talk with him and said that, yeah, you better jump on the train and head up. I don't know what he's going to do. I guess Pricey will call in an hour's time or so. I'm eagerly waiting to see what will happen. Will he actually report for duty? Apparently my Damascus knife, it has served him well. But yeah, this is becoming a long video, so I'm gonna say Jesus Christ is King. God bless.